morning, good evening, everyone. This is Luda Kopikina with GAI Insights. Welcome to Daily AI News, where we rate articles essential, important, and optional. Today, I have Paul, Tim, and Ankash from our regular crew, and Nina Araujo from ARAS, formerly BCG. Welcome, Nina, and she is joining us from Munich.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Great. So we have a couple of articles to review, and let's start with the first one. Oh, articles are at GAI Insights /articles. So please follow along and tell us whether you agree or disagree with our ratings. All right, the first one is actually mine. So OpenAI introduces Sora 2. And it's a really big step up in video generation. It actually has a great physics and realism control, and it can go from a scene to a scene without losing continuity much better than the previous models, and a good sync between audio and dialogue. But what the most news is that there's a personalized experience that you can put together and invite other people. So it's a social app, and you can invite other people to edit yours, and you can share. And this is an interesting model that OpenAI is introducing. So I thought it's essential news, but willing to interested in hearing what other people are thinking. What did you think, Nina?
I also rated Essential Luda, and most especially because for the business leader who isn't that creative, filmmaking, advertising, marketing, space, this is a huge game changer. I was lucky to get an invite from Vivek. He shared one of the codes with me, and I was able to test it a little bit very quickly. But the piece that actually caught my attention was that they give the cameo. So in other words, like the light key, right? That the person who is invited or gets permission to be used in somebody else's video, they can actually have full control to delete the videos, according to to the announcement. And I think that this is very important. To date, sometimes people, of course, victims of wrong use of those platforms can pay a high price.
Yeah, and we will review the parental controls as the next article because they have a lot of information about that. What did you think about this, Tim? Oh,
Yeah, I think it's incredible. I can support essential. I was sort of on the important camp because it's still problematic in certain areas, and it's of interest, absolutely essential for people generating videos and in the video and audio. That's another thing, by the way, that was big here is all the new generation comes with audio, and it's much improved. But they even admit it still has issues. And this, you can insert yourself into the video and you sort of can they're creating kind of a Facebook kind of scroll feed. We'll see. I think, again, it's unclear how relevant that will be to business leaders. It could be. Facebook turned out to be pretty important. So we'll see. But it's an early release. It's very important because it's from OpenAI and because of the leaps and bounds better that this is than Sora 1. But it's still, I think, not there for professional quality work out of the box. Pretty close. So I can support Essential.
okay. Ankaj, what did you think?
I was between important and essential, Luda. So the launch Sora 2, it's really good. I think all the realism that it is bringing in, it is behaving with the laws of physics as well, where it needs to show failure of what has been asked by the user. It does that. It doesn't provide you seven fingers or gymnast doing various things which can't be done in real life. So that's the good part. I think the more essential feature is what they have done with the app and the video generation part of it. So they are trying to sort of create a feed like that we have on Facebook or Instagram, right? So all those reels, and we didn't cover the news from Facebook last week, I think, but they also launched a similar feature last week where you can create those reels and share it with your friends and stuff. So I think somewhere OpenAI realize that there's another avenue where they can earn money, that is through social media, through feeds, other than their existing products. So I think it will be more interesting from that regards how it cannibalizes Facebook and Google's market share from that perspective.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for me, this was a catching announcement. What did you think, Paul? We're going
Yeah,
essential.
yeah, definitely a product announcement, but I think it's essential because it's a representation of this new category of kind of AI getting into social media. I think particularly for B2C firms that have a lot of brand risk on this. We know that 50% of all ChatGPT users are 25 and less. We know we live in a post-text world. We live in a short video world. We know videos is becoming one of the most important ways to communicate with your customers. And I think lastly, it shows yet again how fast the vectors of innovation are happening here. So, they continue to ship products. This is a shipping product, albeit just, I think, an iPhone, on this whole new category of social media, video, AI creation. Put your stuff into it. And there's always been an explosion of creator content around brands that's really moving stuff, and all the downside risk of people doing fake brands and fake claims like this. And this is just going to amplify it. So, what are you going to do when McDonald's are having teenagers create videos of people throwing up when they're eating the foods here? So you've got the leader needs to be aware of these consumer facing downside risk tools are happening out there.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Okay, essential it is. Let's proceed to the next one, Ankash. That was kind of included in the first one, but let's talk about it in more
Sure,
depth.
Luda. Sure. So the next one again from OpenAI, and it talks about parental controls in ChatGPT and Sora.
Yeah, Nina, could you tell us what this is about, and what did you think?
Yes, thank you, Luda. I agree with you. I think this also came in tandem with the product announcement. It has a focus on really trying to help parents of teenagers. They basically just use that age category. And they added, parental controls. There are some resources. They have a parent resource page available to parents, and it allows parents to link their accounts with their teens' accounts, and then to customize safety, privacy, and general settings. They can also they talked about in terms of like future state. To build an age prediction system that wasn't really very clear about what the parameters were going to be and how they were going to do that. The QRG is excellent. It's just a quick reference guide to help parents get to this quickly. I felt that it left a little bit to be desired in terms of just leaving out some important information to guide parents in general. But I rated this. I was between important and essential. For a business leader, I'm not so sure, but definitely important.
Yeah. Tim, what did you think?
Yeah, I'm at the important level. This is I'm happy that any controls are available for these things. I'm skeptical that much control will be possible, partly because it requires the parents to engage, and this is more a kid's technology than a parent's technology to a certain extent. And at least the parents that I know of teenagers, they don't even know if their kids are using it. Plus, you can get a free account just with an email. So I think it's good. I'm glad to see it. I wish there were more, but I think it's a drop in the ocean compared to the use by teens and underage people. I think note that they're going to try and figure out ages of kids, or well, people using ChatGPT may ultimately be more effective if they can actually do that.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. The parents are really not prepared to.
Not at all. They're just letting they're just letting their kids use. The biggest worry they have is that they're using it for homework, maybe.
And yeah, the parents don't even know about these tools. Paul, what did you think?
I had this as optional. I'm threadbare in these claims. This is a serious issue here. We've got tens of thousands of deaths from social media, and we already have suicides from ChatGPT. So This isn't a meaningful effort at all by any stretch of imagination by these big tech companies here. We've seen OpenAI, got their 30-person safety thing here. So, from an AI leader, this is a marketing issue. This is not a real effort at all. Of course, they're going to do marketing stuff. Of course, parents are concerned, but from a business standpoint, 100% optional.
I was kind of with you, Paul, also because
No, I can go there too. Yeah, I was not.
because
Yep.
the parents are not prepared also, so it's just like not gonna fly. What did you think
I mean,
about
3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, Meta, their secret memo was out about how they're targeting emotional management of 13-year-old kids. That they walked that back. We got advertising rumors around OpenAI, and so anyways, I this is too serious of an issue not to have parents walking around with baseball bats, which means the only baseball bat that's left are lawsuits and class action suits by school districts and states. And that's what parents need to be pushing on, because that's the only way to really get this stuff, get some teeth in it, in my view.
Yeah. So, but that will argue for essential, Paul, to just say to the leaders, to the AI leaders, especially where they're at the border of providing capabilities that can be used by teenagers, that this is not there yet.
Yeah. But that's not the article. I mean, the category is important, but this is my view. That's not the article. I don't want to spend a minute reading this article.
So, Nina, would you be okay if we put it optional? What do you think?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Akash, we're going optional.
Optional, Uda.
Okay. Great. Let's proceed to the next one.
Yeah. So the next one comes from DeepSeek, and they have introduced DeepSeek v3.2, an experimental version of it.
Really pushing on the performance and the cost with sparse attention. Tim, what did you think about this?
This is interesting, and I was sort of between optional and important. The Chinese models continue to innovate. DeepSeek in particular was groundbreaking just a little under a year ago now. It's not even a year yet, with the initial version that showed that they could create a frontier, state-of-the-art model at a fraction of the cost and with much greater efficiency. They're doing it again here with this experimental model that is nearly as capable as the original model that is out, well, the current model that's out now from DeepSeek, and at just far less efficiency, far greater efficiency, sorry. So these are your important moves. It is an experimental version, it's a product announcement, and I talked to a number of people at our very successful, congratulations, Paul, conference the last couple of days. And most of the large corporations cannot use these tools. They just can't, for either internal policy reasons or for regulatory reasons. So it's not that relevant directly to most corporate leaders.
So argue for optional. Nina, what did you think?
I also thought it was optional, especially in terms of business strategy and business decision making. You're absolutely right, Tim. It's that regulatory piece is just high, at least from what I read.
Yeah. So, but just so that geeks around our group, if Ashish and Valden folks are listening, the sparse attention is essentially they have an indexer that finds the places where it's important to focus attention. And when they're training, even though they're focusing on selected ones, they are giving it full attention and then release that attention. As a result, they gain 50% in efficiency, not losing quality. So it's an advance in technology that I hope will be used in other models. But yeah, optional probably for the general public. What did you think for the general leader? And Kash, what did you think?
No, I agree, Luda. Optional for the AI leader right now. It's not a great enhancement in performance compared to what we have from OpenAI or Anthropic right now. So for that reason, I think optional.
Yeah, but cost 50%.
Cost is there, but if there's no option to use it, Luda, properly, then that reduced cost is of no use, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, Paul, going optional.
Definitely optional.
Okay, optional it is. Let's proceed.
Okay, the next one comes from California, where Governor Newsom has signed law requiring AI safety disclosures.
Yeah, Ankash, could you summarize it for us, please?
Sure, Luda. So basically, the Governor Gavin Newsom, he has signed into law called SB 53, which requires large AI companies, most of them who are based out of California, right, to publicly disclose how they plan to mitigate catastrophic risks from their models. This is for companies more than 500 million in revenue. There's a violation of $1 million per violation. I think this is optional because while I was reading it, I checked whether there is a way to implement it or monitor it. So basically, it's more around whistleblower protection, anonymous reporting channels, and attorney general using his powers to penalize companies. So not a lot of detail there, and not a lot of I would say monitoring or implementation guidelines as of now.
Yeah, not a lot of teeth, what we would say. Nina, what did you think?
I thought it was optional as well. I saw some traces from the EU AI Act. If you put them side by side, you can see some of it, even though the EU AI Act is a little broader. But no, I agree.
Okay. Tim, we're going optional here.
Optional. Yep.
And
Yeah, it's important if you're a frontier model builder, you're contemplating that business, but yeah, optional for everybody else.
yeah. And there was essentially a call for federal action on this from across the board. Paul, what did you think?
Yeah, definitely optional. I mean, I think we also got to understand the lens of the politics. This is someone positioning to run for the president. The backlash in AI, we fully believe is going to start happening sometime next year, both on the safety and the jobs front. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if he jumps on that as a backlash bandwagon against Trump, who's a kind of very pro AI right now. And it's a joke in terms of enforcement. So don't spend a minute reading this.
Okay. Triple optional, it sounds like. Okay, now for Paul. All right, optional it is. Let's proceed, Ankash.
Okay, the next one comes from ZAI and it is about their GLM 4.6, which has advanced agentic reasoning and coding capabilities.
Yeah. Z.ai is one of the three largest groups in China, almost supported also groups in China that produces these models. Nina, what did you think?
I thought at first when I read, I thought the numbers were impressive. When I saw especially the comparison between the 4.5 and 4.6 versions, and then especially 4.6, across the other agentic capabilities, most especially compared to Claude Code. But it was all self-reported. The advanced reasoning it seems to be excellent. There's some refined writing. It just emphasized, it kept putting itself against Claude Code, saying that it offered that kind of level of agentic behaviors, offers the local deployment. I thought it was important to know for a business leader, but it was between optional and important.
Okay, thank you. So actually I keyed on the pricing because what they keep doing is pushing on the pricing. It's for 1/7 of the price with 3x usage quota, and you can start coding at $9 per quarter. So it's $3 per month with 3x usage capability. It's quite incredible. What did you think about this, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's optional, honestly, because again, like DeepSeek, they are doing fantastic things. And, over time, one presumes this capability will get into American products or other open source or closed source even products. But this isn't going to be useful to most organizations directly. So interesting read. I could go with important if you want to put it on as like a weekend read if you have time just to keep up with stuff. But it's not relevant to day-to-day work right now. The pricing is important, and if the pricing gets cheap enough, there may be some pressure to find some American version of this that people can buy. but I think we got a pretty hard line against Chinese products right now. So
Yeah, no, that is true. And they didn't outstrip the Claude 4.5 for coding. So, and they
right.
actually lamented in here. So it's still Claude is leading in this sense. Okay, so we're going optional, maybe important. Paul, what was your view?
Definitely optional.
Definitely optional. Okay, Ankash, okay.
I was between optional and important, Luda. So they are comparing it to Kimi K2, right? We have seen Kimi K2 releasing a computer use agent. They have also released a PowerPoint agent, and again, very good products related to productivity enhancement in the organization. So from that perspective, I was thinking if this is better than Kimi K2, maybe they will be releasing those kind of products going forward. So might be important for a leader to keep track of what they are doing, but maybe right now optional.
Hmm. But it is pushing the envelope in performance, in cost, in capabilities, like what you are talking about. So let's mark it important as to watch. Okay, important it is. Let's proceed to the next one and last one.
Okay, the last one comes from AWS, and it is a case study about how Prop Hero built an intelligent property investment advisor with continuous evaluation using Amazon Bedrock.
Yeah, it's not only Amazon Bedrock. They got a metrics vendor involved and LangGraph. What did you think about this, Tim?
I
Any
thought this was important. This is a good. Say
Mhm.
that again, Luda.
If you could please tell us what it is a little bit.
Yeah, I thought it was relatively important, so I rated it important. It's a good case study, as usual. It's got a lot of good information, both about the technical architecture and the savings and boosts that they got from it, both top line and bottom line. So excellent case study. This is a company that provides advice on property investment in Australia and now in Spain. So they wanted to expand into Spain. So they needed a Spanish speaking advisor. And what they did was they created effectively a kind of a chatbot that can talk in Spanish about Spanish properties. So they created a knowledge base that has the information they need, um, doing a vector database, all the sort of standard stuff for a technical architecture. They, as you said, they actually have quite a good integration or orchestration, whatever you want to call it. They're using a company called Ragas, RAGAS, that has an evaluation framework, and they're doing it in real time. So they're looking at the groundedness, the accuracy, the relevancy of these responses in real time. And it's some work to do that, but I think a critical piece of work that is not well understood at this point. And the fact they're doing it in real time is pretty innovative, so they can tell as the answer is being generated how good it is, and then they have an analytics dashboard, if you will, to alert them if things are going off the rails. So really a clever approach. And they're using Langsmith and other tools as well to create a bunch of agents using mostly smaller models. So again, fairly cost efficient so that they can do various things like one looks at the query and sorts out routing, which other agent it should go to, and one looks at the actual data, and one is doing this evaluation process. So it's a pretty interesting overall architecture. So I think a good case study to read.
And why not
Agreed.
essential? For all these reasons that you just said, right? It
I
pushes
could go.
the
I could push for essential.
envelope.
I've never rated case studies essential in general because they're yeah, I just haven't, I guess. So because the question is, does every AI leader in every industry need to read this thing, kind of thing.
I
So
But Tim, those are proof points. Those are like stepping stones for the leaders to say somebody implemented it. It's more than a chatbot. It's an advisor, and the quality of advising is actually great, right? They report a 90-some% accuracy. That's fascinating.
Yep.
And
And their
yeah,
results already are pretty good. So
yeah,
they actually went into their results. And again, it's both bottom line savings because they reduce customer service and other kinds of friction.
yeah,
And they also created the opportunity to get into a new market very quickly. So that's a
exactly.
top line effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nina,
I can go to essential. Yeah.
okay. Nina, what did you think?
I was between important and essential. I thought it was another win for Bedrock, but I was thinking about even as an inspiration or conceptual benchmarking could be another way to justify just being more towards essential than important. But like Tim, I was actually impressed by the real timeness of um, this chatbot.
Yeah, Ankash. So, Ankash, if you can scroll to the schematic where they show the orchestration of the advisor and how they use the RAG engines, nothing out of the ordinary that we haven't seen, but this is pushing on the agentic behavior, the router agent, the RAG, all integrated. It doesn't need to be Bedrock. It can be other repositories. So this is cool. The model selection, if you scroll down to the next view, they show the various steps and which model they selected for the step or for the agent. And that's really cool because they report a performance quality, right? But the cost reduction because of the very smart model selection for the tasks. That's another one that is very useful. And then the metrics that they integrated, we haven't seen much of that. And I think this is cool, good results too. So I was totally essential. Ankash, where were you?
Sorry, I was on mute. No, essential for me as well, Luda, for all the points that everybody mentioned, definitely essential.
Okay, essential it is. Let's mark it as essential, and any announcements and evaluations. We lost Paul. Tim, maybe you could overview the conference from yesterday or from the last 2 days.
Yeah, the last 2 days it was terrific. There are a couple of things that I think were quite interesting. One is you start to see people, and there's a real community forming. It was great, for instance, to see a lot of people from our Monday Night Learning Lab there, and even from the conference last year. So a lot of good community building of leaders in this space who are really defining the course of corporations. And as always, Paul and John did a great job getting people doing real things, not, we had some good vendor presentations, and I think that's important to understand where the vendor community is. But it was really well balanced. It was a great panel with Liberty Mutual and JP Morgan and was it Johnson and Johnson, a pharmaceutical company, where they had, 3 top IT leaders talking about how they're doing things right now in production. So that's really great to see because these are major corporations doing things. So it's great. It was just absolutely terrific, and a lot of engagement with the audience. I always say the real value of the conference is the audience. And this was a great audience, so the hallway conversations were great, and I learned a lot of things, and I'm supposedly an expert. I still learned a lot of things, and it was just great to see people and see the community in action. So terrific overall. And Jeffrey Rayport came back. I hope that becomes a standard feature of this conference. Jeffrey is a Harvard Business School professor who I've been fortunate enough to be at some of his actual case teaching. He's just one of the best in the universe. And he did a case last year and a case this year with 300 plus people in 20 minutes. And it was great. It was just absolutely engaging, and we learned a lot. So he's terrific. So I hope that becomes a standard feature because that's just a blast, and you learn.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. We had also Women in AI breakfast, over
Yeah.
120 women. This was really around 16 topics that are hot topics in AI, with some really cool takeaways. So this was really engaging, to your point about community.
Yeah,
Nina, you
one of the
watched
great things about Paul is he's so community focused. He had the Black Leaders effort as well, and of course the 100 events, that whatever it was, the AI Week in Boston, the Mass High
Yeah, that
Tech
was
Council
really
was there.
cool.
Just he's really terrific at all
Yeah,
that stuff, and a lot of great leadership.
yeah. Nina, one line, what you took away? You're watching virtually.
More innovative than I expected.
Yeah. And
Yes.
I could, AI is a contact sport, so you have to
Yeah.
apply it
Yeah.
right
And
in.
it does make you think back over, a year ago, there were no reasoning models, there was no DeepSeek, agentic AI wasn't even a thought in people's minds.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
unbelievable how far things have
Right.
come.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So for today, we have 2 essentials, 1 important, and the rest are optional. So thank you, everybody. Ted, welcome. There are probably other people who haven't announced themselves. Really appreciate new people joining. And thank you all, Valda. Really appreciate it. So Ashish, and thanks for your views and participation. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. And Nina, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.